He got problems, she got problems. Only I got 411 problems. Hey, hi, what's up, y'all? Welcome and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another story time, and welcome to These Hoes is Crazy. So I told y'all how all these stories was gonna make sense, starting with the drive to Tallahassee, and the drive to Tallahassee meshed into I'm cursed. But here's the little conclusion of how it makes sense. Of how it makes sense, honey. In the ending of I'm Cursed, I told y'all I didn't put two and two together until later. And how I didn't put two and two together until later. I didn't put two and two together until later. Right? So I'm the type of person where I'm gonna ask questions because it needs to make sense for me. Y'all hear me say that in my story times. As a Capricorn, I always say it's a Capricorn thing. It could just be me. But you hear me say it has to make sense for me. It does. Because I am a logical thinker. So it has to connect. It has to make sense. The reason why you're maneuvering, how you're maneuvering, it has to make sense for me. Like I even tell my son, ask yourself when you're doing this, how is this going to affect you in the end? How does this make sense? Make it make sense for me. You hear me say that? Make it make sense for me. So I go to Chevron because at this point in my mind, if your gas got sand in it and it's putting sand in people's tank, you shouldn't be having no business, or it should be another person that I can find out that's having the same problem, right? And so I go to the Chevron that I've been going to because I am consistent. Y'all hear me say consistently. If you pay attention to my vlogs, or maybe if I told you or not, I think I have said in a vlog or two here and there how Ghost, which is my car, Ghost doesn't like, the only thing she like is Shell. And I pay attention, like when I put certain gas in a car, like I pay attention to how the car ride. And if the car don't ride smooth, to me it's like this car don't like this gas. They don't mesh. It don't mesh. It don't mesh. So yeah, so it was like Chevron had did good. I have been using Chevron for the longest. Been using Chevron with the Hyundai accent. Was using Chevron with the Saturn in a different city, but had been using Chevron. So I was using Chevron with this car, and I really didn't have any problem. It literally came out of the blue. Out of the blue. And so I go to the same gas station because it's like, oh, I need to do research. And so when I went in there, like I'm asking the people behind the counter, like, hey, have y'all had any people complain about y'all gas? Like, have y'all had anybody come here to say, hey, like my car not working after I done been here and I had issues with gas? And I was like, I'm not accusing y'all of nothing. I just want to find out some things. And so, of course, they was like, no, no, no. And so this one particular person that I had saw because we would cross paths, and it got to a point where it's like, you kind of nod when you see a person on repeat. You know what I'm saying? Like if you take the same path, or you see a person at the same place, like you get acquainted with people. Like now, when I go pick up my sandwich at Subway, the lady get acquainted. She acquainted with my name. She know what I'm ordering. I usually order the same thing. It's the same person because she worked morning shift. So when I walk in now, this last time when I went to go pick up my sandwich, because every time I go pick up my sandwich here for the month, it's been like 2 months. It's been the same person making my sandwich. So this last time when I left, she was like, see you next time, Angel. You've got acquainted with my face. I've got acquainted with yours because every time I leave, I always say, have a good day. And I keep telling y'all, when you treat people nice, especially in the food places, and you don't be talking to them people all kind of way because their job hard as hell, yet it's perks. It's perks anywhere when you just treat people nice. You treat people how you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's like, what makes you a good boss, what makes you a good leader is how you can differentiate. I can't even say the word. I don't want to say categorize. I want to say categorized. I want to say different. Why I can't say different? Oh, I can't say the word. Differential. Different. No, that's not what I want to say. I know the word. That's crazy. Different. Different. No. Differentiate. It's in my head. These are common phrases. Give me where's the thesaurus? Differentiate. Why I can't say that? Let me see if Gemini can help me pronounce it. Oh my god. No. I don't want you to allow access to my microphone. Never mind. Let me see if I can find it in the dictionary and the dictionary can say it for me. It seemed like it was like something that says like differentiate. Differentiate. Seemed like I could have sworn there was a word. Separating different. The word for the act. I got let me because YouTube make it look like I ain't got on no clothes. Differentiate is the word. Differentiate. Differentiate. Anyway, what makes you a good manager is being able to know the process of how to separate the difference of people, knowing their strengths and weaknesses, as my boss does. I know your strengths over here, so I'm gonna put you over here, and then especially to make sure that you like doing it. Because if you're over here and you're strong in this and you like doing it, you're going to be good at it. And I don't have to micromanage, hover you, make you, you're comfortable. So I know that job is going to be complete. I don't have to exhort my power. I don't have to prove that I'm your manager. I don't have to micromanage you to prove who I am. You know who I am, but I'm going to put you in a place where it's like, you know what I'm saying? I know that's going to work for me because if you're doing your job and you're doing it well, that still looks good on me. I'm going to make you comfortable with working with me so you will work well and it works for the both of us. Anyway. So, yeah, so it was like this person that I had seen at the gas station on repeat. And with my car, once me finding out, like, my car it's the gas because it's saying in my gas tank, I can't come get gas here no more, which it was like, dang, because I didn't have any problems previous. It just happened out of the blue. All of a sudden, the car started acting crazy. So the person that I had seen the paper was like, I haven't seen you in a while because we don't know each other's name. We just know each other's face, just familiar with faces. And I tell any female, any place that you're going, any place that you move to, you get familiar with places, get familiar with streets. Don't always get comfortable because you never know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, get familiar with places, get familiar with streets, get familiar with your neighborhood, get familiar with cars just like we do now. You know what I'm saying? Like if we have certain parking spaces, so we know if somebody new is popping up because you parked in somebody's parking space. They're not parked in my parking space this time. Thank you. You parked in the other dude parking space. He don't really say nothing. He just parked in somebody else's parking space, and it kind of make chaos when you do that. But I kind of like left a little hint, like I was on the phone and I was like, oh, it's somebody new child parked in his parking space. Like, girl, ask around. Like you notice but that's my thing too. You notice even with me talking to the manager that's there now. You notice certain things because she noticed the dude who parked next to me now, he had ended up moving back to his original parking spot. And so she was like, because when she's off, somebody else comes and parks in his parking space. and park in his parking space when the our main manager is off. So he was like, every time you walk, somebody park in my parking spot. And so she was like, she wondered why he was back in his original parking spot. And I had noticed it too. I was like, oh, he back in his original parking spot. As I told y'all, when people move out, it rotates. They had a whole system before I got there. I'm just gonna make you respect my space. So yeah, so I saw, it was a man. He was like, where you been? Like, I ain't seen you. And I was like, I stopped coming here. And I said, because my car started acting crazy. And I said, and it was a bunch of sand in my gas tank. And I was like, I'm glad I saw you because that's what I want to ask. And I was like, but you are seeing you here already answered my question because you're not having any problem with gas because the gas station is still booming. And so he was like, "Nah, I don't." He was like, "I feel multiple cars up here. This is good gas. I ain't have no problem." He was like, "You had sand in your gas tank?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, out of the blue, like my car just started acting crazy. Like I could be driving, and then all of a sudden, like the car is like shutting down, going crazy, and like I'm trying to push, and it's and my car wouldn't move. And I was like, I would have to pull over, sit for like 20 to 30 minutes for my car to crank up again. And so he was like, huh? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, so I don't know. I don't know what it was. And I was like, but it finally happened. I was like in front of my mom. And I said, because I was telling my mom about it and she thought I was, just being crazy. And I said, it finally happened in front of her. She took a video and took it to the Nissan place. They, took the car almost completely apart and found out like my gas tank was full of sand. And when I said it, he said, baby, that ain't the gas. And I was like, what you mean? He said, that ain't the gas. He was like, you got anybody that's mad at you, that, that's got an issue with you or something? And that was the first time I had even thought. And I was like, no, because again, I had wished Devin the best. Didn't say anything, didn't act crazy. None of that. None of that. Except one time. Except one time. One time. One time. One time. But it wasn't an issue. Well, except one time. And so I was like, nah, like I haven't messed with nobody or nothing like that. And so he was like, that ain't the gas. He was like, cause I ain't had no problems in it. And I was like, right, like I'm still seeing people, around. And so I was like, okay, I was like, you're the person that I really wanted to see because I'm trying to figure this thing out. And so he was like, baby, that ain't the gas. That ain't the gas. And he started laughing. And so he was like, I don't know what you got going on. He was like, maybe you messed with a man that got a lot of women. And I was like, he was like, because that sounds like something a woman would do. He was like, I'm not even gonna put past it. Sound like something a man would do. He was like, somebody mad. He was like, but he was like, what it was like a little bit of gas. He was like, because he was like, if it was coming from here, it's sand gonna be coming out, like it's gonna how can I say it? He was like, it's gonna be quicker than you was like out of the blue. And you hear all the time, which is true. Like I fill up every week. And so he was like, so it would have happened like quick, like a instant type thing. He was like, and it wouldn't have been like all of a sudden type situation. Like it wouldn't be something where it wasn't making sense. And I was like, okay. And so he was like, that don't sound like, he was like, like it's a business. So you gonna have multiple complaints. You're gonna have people, it would have happened to somebody before you if it was the gas. He was like, and somebody after you. He was like, we see the same people filling up here. He was like, that ain't the gas. That's somebody else who literally tried to destroy your car. I was like, okay. And so he was like, check your friends, check your people, like check all that. I was like, okay, thank you. So he was like, you're not gonna get gas in no more. And I was like, no. I said, because my mom thinks it's the gas, because the mechanic had said, he was like, I don't know where she getting gas from, but it's just sand. I said the sand, like my mama described it, where you can see the sand. I actually think it was a picture, but I definitely don't have them phones. I definitely don't have no phones. Seemed like I remember a picture and the sand was filled to the top. Like I can see the sand. It was like filled to pack in almost perfect. I promise you, it fit to like the brim of the container like the man was holding, because my mom took a picture. It was literally packed with sand. And so he was like, he was like, you got to check your surroundings. And I was like, okay, thank you. So once he said that, I had left it alone, had been quiet, you know what I'm saying? Like, had left it alone, right? So, as I told y'all in the random DM is more, what's the word I'm looking for? More information. I ain't gonna even do all that. Is more information when it comes down to the relationship between me and Devin. It's more backstory. Like I kind of scratched the surface in the missing child. I kind of, you know what I'm saying? I kind of scratched the surface with him like that, like literally, but in depth is really the random DM, and it's 2 parts to that. And so, and I said I was gonna expound more when I was watching it, because like I rushed the second part instead of going in depth with the third part of literally like how it ends. But I think I am, but it's just gonna be in a different story time, in a different way, from a different perspective. So anyway, so once, like I kept that in mind, I kept it in mind, and I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that could be the possibility that one of these hoes that he messing with could have, well, at this point in time, I was like, hey, it could be that hoe. It could be that hoe, because it was only one girl. Because if you go listen to the random DM, he was telling me like, how can I cut? Usually it's like 6 months intervals with us. So it's like usually 6 months we were good, and then 6 months he would disappear. And so this one particular time I was like, oh, it's another. And so he was like, nah, it ain't another lady. And the whole time it was another lady in the same complex. And so when I saw him the first time at the lady house, I pulled up on him. He was outside at his truck, but I had noticed like his truck was parked there all the time. That's for the other story. I noticed his truck had been parked there all the time. And so I saw him like leaving. And so I pulled up. And when I pulled up, and I was like, oh, it's not another bitch, huh? It's not another bitch, huh? And so he was like, man, quit doing all that. And I was like, oh, you don't want her to know? You don't want her to know? And so I was blowing the horn. I ain't touch him. I ain't touch his car. I was blowing the horn. And with me blowing the horn, like I'm bringing attention so you can see me. You can see me. And it's like, I was like, oh, I said, you didn't go far, huh? You didn't go far, huh? You told me it wasn't another girl. And I was like, your usual, like 6 months, your usual. Like I'm talking loud. And so I had noticed the person had opened a window, like you looking out the window. She was kind of short, my complexion, but she had that low cut, like a texturizer type situation that was kind of coming in as a hairstyle. And so she was looking out the window, and I was like, yeah, let her know that you just left. Like you told me it wasn't nobody else. Right? So because I was blowing the horn. So at this point in time, in my mind, I was like, she saw my car. You know what I'm saying? Like, you saw my car, you saw my face, and I'm passing by all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm seeing you over there. And so even after that, it was like, I tell y'all, I do my best not to crash out. You know what I'm saying? I do my best not to let people get me there. Because if you constantly do stuff out of emotion, because a lot of times people just want to see your reaction, because they want to have control over you. They want to have some kind of, it's like, oh, I want to have this effect on you, whether it's good or bad. They want to have control, and they want to have some kind of effect over you. And so when you don't give them that, you win. You know what I'm saying? And so after I left and I was like, oh, that's just so not my character. And I was so disappointed in myself. And it was like, let that be. Like, girl, she helped you out. She saved you. I have to talk to myself like that because I keep telling people I can get there. I can get there. I can get there. Especially if I feel like I'm to that point where you playing in my mother's face. I can get there. Cause I ain't no spring chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an old chick. I'm old. This face just look young. I'm old. And they get to the point where you get sick and tired. And it's like, I will beat you down where you stand. I don't give a fuck about you, your feelings, nothing like that. I can get there. And I try my best not to. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, because a lot of times people want to see a reaction out of you, especially if you don't want to be their friend, you don't want to interact with them, or you not giving them what you want. Because people are crazy, people are weird as shit, and it's like a lot of times they pull stuff over from high school because people didn't talk to me in high school. So you seem like you the popular person, or I want you to be my friend because maybe people talking about you in the office, or you seem cool in the complex. So I'm gonna bother you. Like, you don't want to be my friend. Like, and most of the time I see that is with white bitches. Real talk. Anyway, so yeah, so not saying that black girls don't do it, because they do. Black girls are just more malicious when it comes down to it, and just more calculated. But white girls are dumb when it comes down to that. It's like, you gotta accept me. You gotta accept me. Just like unknown caller. Like, her mom was like, oh, I'm doing this. I'm destroying my daughter because somebody else sexually assaulted me. And I'm trying to prepare her. No, you were upset because your daughter was popular and had the boyfriend and had all the friends and it was all over the place, and you didn't have that. That's what that was. That had nothing to do with her sexual assault. Anyway, so yeah. So I did that. So that popped up in my mind. I was like, well, maybe it was that. Or if you go to that story time, the random DM, you will hear how Gifted, we was behind him, and that's how Gifted found out about the girl, because they was going on a date or something, because like he had pulled out in front of me. And so she was in the truck and Gifted was behind him. So she was like, what the fuck? And was blowing my horn, going crazy. And I was like, girl, stop. Because I had already acted a fool with the horn. And I was like, girl, stop. And so she was like, no, I thought he said it wasn't no other girl. I thought he said it wasn't no other girl. And I was like, girl, let it be. You know what I'm saying? And so she was like, no. And I was like, yeah, let it be. Like, let it be. So anyway, so yeah, so like the girl, like you can tell, like, I know you looking in the rear view mirror. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, here go the same in this black car blowing her horn. Even though this time I wasn't blowing my horn, I was done with it. Like, I had literally like moved on because I was so disappointed in myself with that. You know what I'm saying? With how I had moved with Sean, like pulling up on him, even though you had lied to me. And that's the thing, like that's the thing that really grind my gears. One of the things, actually. It ain't a lot, but it's a couple of things that really grind my gears. And don't fucking lie to me. Don't lie in my face. Don't feel like you trying to control me and lying in my face and doing some stuff like that. Feel like you trying to control me. Tell me the truth so I can maneuver. Don't choose for me. Don't choose for me. That shit pissed me the off. Don't choose for me. Don't feel like you can control me. That's really gonna make me disrespect you and not fucking like you. I can't stand that. And don't play with my money. Don't play with my mother kid. Don't play with me. Like, that's literally it. Like, it ain't much for me. You know what I'm saying? But don't play with me. Don't try to play in my face. No, choose for me. Don't feel like you can control me. Like, oh, I'm gonna make you accept whatever I'm dishing out. No, ho, you can get the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't gotta go all through that. Get gone. Or approach me and tell me what it is and let me decide if I want to fuck with it or not. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. So yeah, so it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I was like, maybe those instances of, gave her like, inkling, like, girl, this is my man. He came over here. Cause you know how y'all do, like, y'all think like once he choose you or you out in the open, y'all going on some dates, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, girl, it is no way you are beneath him. He wouldn't mess with you. Whole time he in a whole full blown relationship, turning her every which way but turning her every which way but loose, making sure she's straight, making sure that things are happening, and he maneuvering, he pulling up. Like, I'm saying, like, the whole time. And you sitting there like, girl, he will never. Girl, yes, he will. On repeat. And will come back. Had been back. Girl, you in the 6-month rotation like I'm in the 6-month rotation. Well, lo and behold, when he had my car, I didn't realize that he was piqued by somebody who else you were involved with that stayed at that same complex. And we worked together. Dang, I had the name in my head before I came on here. Oh, Informer. So we all call her Informer. So Informer would work, beautiful girl. She's tall though. We are completely opposite. She's tall. I would say she might have been 6 even. She might have been 5'9", 6 even. Very, very fair skin. At this point in time, her hair wasn't long. I would say it was more like medium, but she was beautiful, beautiful girl. Nice personality, chill with it. And so I told y'all, like, every time, like, I knew or I had to introduce myself to everybody that come in there because I walked around to pick up the paperwork to make sure like all of the files and everything was complete for the patients in all these different facilities. Basically, file clerk, data entry. Yeah, they actually, because my boss was like, I'm not gonna call you a file clerk, even though that's what I applied for. Because baby, I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be bothered here now for my second gig when I'm looking for during the daytime. I'm looking scanning clerk, file clerk. I don't want to be bothered. And all these people keep, oh, you'd be a great fit for scheduler or front office for check-in. No, I won't. No, I won't. Quit looking at my past experience because I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk to patients. I don't want to deal with people. I want to deal with these papers because they don't talk back. So anyway, yeah. So it was like, okay, like Informer had saw him when he had, at the point in time when he had dropped my car off, like when he had stopped my car or whatever, he had dropped my car off. And I was like, because as I told y'all what was that? The Missing Child. I think in The Missing Child, because I was like, I liked him because I was letting him have my car when his truck or when situations was going on, he would have my car. So both cars, child. And I'm gonna get to that. Anyway. So Informer had saw, like, she saw him, right? But when she peeped him, she didn't say anything to me. When she peeped him, she didn't say anything to me. She kept it cool, kept it casual, didn't say nothing. Right? So at this point in time, like, Informer had gotten let go. She had gotten fired. I don't know why she had gotten fired, but she had got let go or whatever, right? And so I don't know what had happened. I don't know if Gifted was moving to a new place. I think Gifted was moving to her new place. I think she was either moving to her new place or I was moving to mine. I think she was moving to her new place. But Informer stayed in the same complex that Gifted did, along with Devin. Well, Devin didn't live in that complex. He worked there. So I saw her after she had got fired. I think maybe like it might have been like a month or two. And so I was like, oh, I know her because she was sitting out like on her stoop type situation. And so we had a good rapport. Like, I had never had any issue with her or nothing. Excuse me. I had never had any issue with her or nothing. So it was like, oh, I know her. And so I was like, I'm gonna take you, to your place, and I'm gonna come back and talk to her. Cause I think we had went and got food, or we had went and got food for her to cook or whatever. Cause Gifted could throw down in the kitchen, baby. That girl could. I was always looking forward to anything that she had came up with. Like what? Cause she was the one who introduced me to like flounder and how she had cooked it. That thing was good. I was never interested in eating flounder as a fish, even though most of my family were commercial fishermen. Never was interested in it because, as I told y'all, I don't even like smoked mullet either. And my family loves smoked mullet. I don't like the aftertaste. But I love whiting. But she cooked a flounder. Ooh, I was like, girl, I ain't have never had flounder like she cooked. That girl could cook. That girl could throw down in the kitchen. I don't know what ancestor come up and work through her hands and through her arms, but that girl could cook. She made this chicken salad, this fried chicken salad. Girl, she introduced me to like banana peppers and stuff. That fried chicken salad was so good. I was like we would plan meals like that. It would be like, girl, you want to do this, you want to do this. And then even with me, she would be like, girl, you gonna cook? Because she was like, your cooking gives like a distinctive taste. Because she was like very, I won't say critical, but she could be a critic and say like, girl, this ain't got no flavor, this ain't got nothing. She would never do that with my cooking. Even when it came down to like I would turn her on to like little store-bought meals, and like, cause I would always flip it like Taco Bell, and people be like, girl, you getting the Taco Bell box? Cause when I picked it up, cause she was like, I really want some tacos, and I was like, girl, we go get the Taco Bell box and make some good tacos and get the toppings and stuff. She was like, girl, no, that's gonna be nasty. I'm telling you, it's good. Like I will flip it and come up with a meal. I do. I flip it but come up with a lot of meals now. Ty be like, how you even? I don't know. I just think about stuff in my head and I be like, ooh, it was this one thing called Italian chicken. I ain't make that no more. Oh, it was another thing called caramel chicken. I turn on even my neighbor's daughters. They used to come over and they was like, Angie, you gonna make some caramel chicken? Whole time like just struggling, and I would just put stuff together. Literally, it was the caramel from McDonald's. I would put it on chicken nuggets. The chicken nuggets that Dollar Tree used to sell them, everything was $1. It was a specific brand. Put the caramel on top of the chicken, put it in the oven, and let the caramel melt in the chicken. And I know y'all be like, but I promise it tastes so good. Them girls would come and they be like, you gonna make caramel chicken? You gonna make caramel chicken? I'm gonna see if I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out to one of the girls and see if she remember it and see her response, and I'm gonna put it in here. Anyway, so yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna take you to the house. You go ahead and start cooking or whatever, because I don't know what we was eating or whatever. Because we would do that. Either we would go to a restaurant or we would cook, and we would be excited about that. Like literally, that was like our time to spend time together, to sit there, eat, movie, whatever, talk, catch up, whatever. And I was like, but I'm gonna go talk to her. She was like, oh, okay. And so I took her home, helped her get the groceries out, got stuff together. She was like, girl, I got it. Like, you done help me brought stuff in here. I got it. Go talk to your friend. So I pull up on her to, make sure she was still outside. And I pull up and I was like, informer girl, I miss you. What happened? What happened? And so she was like, oh, girl, they fired me because they basically saying that I was late too many times. And I was like, oh, dang. She was like, yeah, they was basically saying I was late too many times. And, like I don't know. They was just basically saying I was late too many times. And I was like, dang. And so she was like, yeah. And so lo and behold, his truck ended up passing by. And when his truck ended up passing by, like I could tell, like I could see the little head over there. So you still with old girl, right? You still with old girl. And so his truck ended up passing by. And so she said, you still mess with that hoe? I said, girl, who? And so she was like, Devin, that hoe right there. I said, no. At this point in time, I wasn't messing with him. And then also at this point in time, I had already had the miscarriage, like all that stuff was like, because Gifted was moving out of her joint. She was moving. Like it was winding out. She had decided to move to a whole different place. And so I was like, And so she was like, girl, yeah. She was like, I saw him when he came up to the job and he was driving your car. And I was like, got another one. And I was like, what? What? I was like, hold on, what you mean? She was like, girl, she was like, all three of us all at the same time was working at the same place. I said, all three of us? And so she was like, me, you, and Fit In. I'm gonna call her Fit In. Reason why I'm calling her Fit In is because she's one of those people who feel like I have to fit in. So she would go above and beyond to fit in. And while you trying to do that, you creating more chaos and actually pushing people away from you than actually pulling people to you. Like, just literally, just be yourself. And who gonna mess with you, gonna mess with you. But we gonna call her fit in. And so she was like, yeah, me, you, and fit in. Fit in was tall, about 5'9", but chocolate. Also, single mama. Informal, single mama. And I was like, I'm starting to see a pattern here. I'm starting to see a pattern here. And I was like, so I said, all of y'all was dating him the time that I was dating him. I said, when he pulled up, you was dating him? She was like, no. Because I was about to say, I was like, girl, if that was the case, why you ain't say nothing? Because that would have, saved me some trouble here recently. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, oh, no. She was like, I was wondering why he was quiet. She was like, because it's usually like he come and then he go. It's usually like 6 months. I said, yep. And so at this point, it's like I'm that type of person where I'm gonna get information and not give you too much. It's like I'm gonna let you spill. I ain't gonna say too much, but I'm gonna make it work for me. And this is gonna be 2 parts. I love you the most because you're definitely the dopest in real life, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I know it's a word. That's bothering me. I'm gonna have to look.